Hi everybody, I'm Matt Riffley, Executive Director of Austin Indie Fest.
I'm Devin Foster, I'm the Creative Director of Austin Indie Fest.
And this is this year's 2020 Virtual Awards Ceremony. I'd like to start off by congratulating every filmmaker that was a part of this festival. The fact that you made a great film, completed it, was able to submit it, become an official selection, and probably nominated to get this far is a huge accomplishment in any filmmaker's life. So in order to get to this point, to the awards ceremony, your film had to go through 17 judges. And then once those judges made their determinations, we then reviewed the reviewers and selected and narrowed things down to get to this point. When we look at films, we look at everything in great detail. We look at the technical aspects, we look at the story, we look at the acting, we look at a little bit of everything to make our determinations as to who gets the best in each category. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and start off with our student awards, high school.
For the best high school film, Fever Dream.
Don't bother about me. You've got far more to worry about.
The best film school film, Beyond Customs.
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
The best self-taught film, The Watery Grave.
Today we're here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate these souls that have given their lives back to Christ. We're here to celebrate these souls that have chosen to go down to the watery grave, who have chosen to experience death so they may be reborn as a new creature in Christ.
We know that every film starts off with a good story. And this year's best screenplay goes to a film that is based off of a true story, and it was done in such a way that I felt like I was there. It was great and well written and well done. So this year's best screenplay goes to Leave 'Em Laughing.
You guys excited about the show?
Okay, now, tell me again who this guy is.
Dick Shawn.
Yeah, no, I don't.
From It's a Mad, Mad World.
It's a mad, mad world. They're poor man's.
I'm coming, Mama! Your baby's coming to save you, Mama! My Mama! What did they do with my Mama?
I never saw it.
You've never seen that?
I
I feel
saw
sorry for you.
The award for Best Editing goes to a film that has an incredibly unique look and just really surprised us with the creativity and the beauty of the film.
Mm-hmm.
The Best Editing award goes to The Cautionary Tale of the House in the Sky.
So many movies today are going CGI and having all kinds of computerized effects. And so I really love it when I see a film that has great practical effects. So with that in mind, this year's Best Practical Effects Award goes to Jenna Green with Beware. She did a great job making werewolves. Those are hard to make. She did really, really good.
What's next?
Nothing. You pay me $10,000 and wait for the next full moon.
And that's it. I don't have to be buried in a coffin or become one with the earth or anything like that.
Hell no, you idiot. That's a vampire. I'm a werewolf. Now get your monsters straight.
The award for Best Cinematography goes to Finn. The award for Best Actor in a Short Film goes to Ali Al-Kafaji in Hyder.
Hello?
Hi. Hello?
Hey. How are you?
Good. You?
I'm good.
Best Actress in a Short Film, Katerina Morakova in Rendezvous. Best Actor in a Long-Form Story, Daniel Urbanowicz in Outside the Box.
I lost my wife. If you find her, tell her I'm in the alley behind the Big Mart.
For all you ladies out there, I like long walks on the beach. I'm against world hunger, and I may just give the world's best massage.
I mean, I have goals. This is only temporary until I can get better arrangements. I'm just looking for the perfect place in my price range, you know?
So apparently, when you're homeless, people think that you're either crazy or that you're addicted to drugs.
Best Actress in a Long-Form Story, Ilsa Ambika Ryan in Brokers.
Right leg into the sky. Now
Frankie knows a whole bunch of growers. I know a whole bunch of buyers. Together, we make a whole bunch of money. In the meantime, she likes to make these yoga YouTube videos.
Out, press through the back leg.
There's me, brokering a deal like usual. She still gets a little nervous when she makes these videos. That's not apple juice. I ain't judging, I'm just saying.
And bring that leg back down. Here we go. Now for the fun part.
This year's best trailer was Metal.
That has been in my family for generations. You can have it. There's been stories about that with warriors. Monster.
If I'm not back in a few days, leave.
This year's best music video goes to Daddy's on the Sands. This year's best VR 360 goes to Swing. Every continent in the world except for Antarctica has submitted films to us for the International Film category. So if you know anybody that's making films about penguins, let them know. We're looking for their film. But this year's best international film goes to one with just stunning visuals and a good story about humanity. This year's best international film goes to The Traveler. Fan film is one of my favorite categories in our festival. It's really hard to make a film that is based off of somebody else's, original ideas. We see $200 million, $250 million going into superhero movies all the time. And we know that nobody at our level has that kind of budget. So to pull off a really good fan film is a challenge. And this year we have 5 really good, spectacular fan films. And out of all of them, this year's best fan film goes to one that not only impressed us, but moved us. This year's best fan film goes to Living in Crime Alley. This year's best action and adventure goes to Boulevard.
Oh, fight night. When us college kids get together at the end of each semester to bash each other's faces in. Money donated from streamers goes to charity, but the pride goes to the winner.
Pablo, don't even try to handle this man on the bottom, alright? Honestly, Montoya's like his...
We love horror. We're making a horror feature right now. And so as we looked at the films that were submitted to us this year for horror, we just had to pick Beware.
What's next?
Nothing. You pay me $10,000 and wait for the next full moon.
And that's it. I don't have to be buried in a coffin or become one with the earth or anything like that.
Hell no, you idiot. That's a vampire. I'm a werewolf. Now get your monsters straight.
The award for Best Thriller goes to the very exciting Scalera Absentia.
Hi? Can we help you?
Can I come in?
The award for Best Animation, I think this is the first time we've selected an international for Best Animation, but it was such a beautiful film from Iran, Malakaut.
Check it out. It's so beautifully done, and there's no language barriers or anything. It's just, it's moving. It's a great film.
Now we've made it to my all-time favorite genre, science fiction. I love the science fiction films we got. They are so unique, and this one stood out as being even more unique than the rest. Syl and the Devil Seeds of Arador.
No, go gently, slowly. Let the water seep into the skin. Ow, 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 ow. You're not scrubbing a floorboard. Is that it?
For Best Fantasy, Fantasy Ahoy.
Pirates may be tough, but no man, except me of course, is a match for Creepo the Wizard. I was hoping that I wouldn't have need for your arts, Creepo, but it appears I have no choice.
For Best Musical Film, Another Wonderful Day in Paradise. For the Best Western Film, we selected something that sent us back in time to the 1960s. And having done historical films, we understand how difficult that really is. Our Best Western Film is Cutthroat.
Then I'd wrap and slap a picking string around his legs.
For the Best Drama Film, we selected something that was so moving and shot so beautifully. That's The Dark Places.
Stay back.
Please, let me help you.
For Best Comedy, we selected the very hilarious and pretty outrageous Your First Day in Hell.
Your body will continue to operate as before, with the exception of... Next slide, next slide, next slide. Increased hunger, reoccurring diarrhea, and a complete loss of sex drive.
What all that's horse shit! Oh, come on.
We've started a tradition here at Austin Indie Fest to select a film that has the spirit of Texas, something that celebrates where we live in a unique and interesting way. Sometimes in the film industry, Texas is represented as just like dusty plains and tumbleweeds. And Texas has so much more than that. I love seeing films that really showcase where we are from and how wonderful it can be to live here. And so this year's Texas Spirit Award has Bluebonnets and creatives like us and crazy old men that shoot at people. So that's all the best things Texas has to offer. This year's Texas Spirit Award goes to Bloom.
So I think I want you like about 20 feet in the middle of those flowers right there.
Should I just get naked or?
No, just start with shirt off and then we can kind of get warmed up and I can make sure everything's going well on my end.
This year we received a lot of films that were very inspirational, and you know, considering we're in a global pandemic right now, that's kind of an important thing to have. And it was a little challenging to figure out who was going to get the best inspirational film. But this year's best inspirational film goes to Miss Anita.
How did you think you did?
So here at Austin Indie Fest, we have a very unique worst film category. It's so much fun. It is all the films that are probably too quirky for the mainstream or do something that's really outside the box. And sometimes they are so bad, they are amazing and hilarious. And sometimes they are so unusual that we feel like they could develop a cult following due to their unique voice.
Now, we title them worst film, but keep in mind, they submit into that category. We don't look at everybody's films and go, oh, this one's terrible, let's make it a worst film. No, you have to submit into the category to be a worst film.
Yeah, it is intentionally fun and cheeky.
Right.
So for our So Bad It's Good category, Mr. Deviltry.
Wait, weren't they just in the city?
The city was on the other side before they drove to the tunnel. On this side of the tunnel is the desert.
And the winner of our Cult Classic category, Reaper Island Part 2.
Oh, it's used for great things. Great things. But in order for those great things to happen, something is needed first.
And what would that be?
Blood.
Austin Indie Fest gets a lot of beautiful storytelling. But we also love to learn something new. That's probably our favorite hobby, is to sit around and read and learn.
Right.
And so we love to get a documentary that teaches us something new. And having lived in Hawaii as a member of the LGBT community, Parental Guidance Suggested was very close to my heart and the winner of the Best Documentary Short Film.
What did we do wrong? Is this just a phase?
First off, you didn't do anything wrong. There are certain phases within it. There are phases of discovery, there are phases of acceptance, there are phases of just living your best life. But in the bigger picture, it's not a phase.
I don't think it was a choice. It was something that it was just there.
For the Best Documentary Feature, the one and only Jewish Miss America.
Bess couldn't have been more wrong. She charmed audiences with her musical talent, and in spite of her unique appearance, perhaps because of it, Bess would make it to the final 15 challengers, and then on to be crowned Miss New York City. But before she was, Bess would be confronted with her first big choice. A choice between being true to her roots and fitting in with the beauty industry.
We love television content. We love series. We love to build a relationship with characters that we're going to see over and over and over again. So that's why we love television, we love web series, and that's why we created the pilot series and web series content for Austin Indie Fest. And with that in mind, we've gotten some amazing pilots and webisodes that have been submitted to us. And so taking a look at this year's films, check them out. They're really good.
I think my favorite thing about seeing a great pilot is, of course, that you want to watch the next episode. You're thinking, okay, what's the rest of this season? What's season 2? What's season 3?
Right.
And these pilots really made me feel that way.
Absolutely.
Like wanting more.
I want to see more of both of these.
So for Best Pilot Web Series, Brokers.
Right leg into the sky. Now breathe.
Frankie knows a whole bunch of growers. I know a whole bunch of buyers. Together, we make a whole bunch of money. In the meantime, she likes to make these yoga YouTube videos.
Out, press through the back leg.
There's me, brokering a deal like usual. She still gets a little nervous when she makes these videos. That's not apple juice. I ain't judging, I'm just saying.
And bring that leg back down. Here we go. Now for the fun part.
The Best Television Pilot, Outside the Box.
I lost my wife. If you find her, tell her I'm in the alley behind the Big Mart.
For all you ladies out there, I like long walks on the beach. I'm against world hunger, and I may just give the world's best massage.
I mean, I have goals. I mean, this is only temporary until I can get better arrangements. I'm just looking for the perfect place in my price range, you know?
So apparently, when you're homeless, people think that you're either crazy or that you're addicted to drugs.
Now, living here in Texas, we of course have to recognize Texas filmmakers every now and then. So we like to take a moment and just recognize a couple of them. For this year's Best Made in Texas Short Film, Salting the Fly.
He had it coming, David said.
When did I say that?
He had it coming, Danny, David said.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I did say that, and it's true.
And for this year's Best Made in Texas Feature Film, After the Night with Valerie.
Drink up, man.
I'm good, man.
No. Each time one of us sinks a ball, the other one's got a drink.
I'm gonna get trashed the way you're playing.
Yeah, that's the point.
As a military veteran, it's been a challenge for me to transition from 20 years of military service into filmmaking and into the film industry. And sometimes it's not always the most welcoming environment. Military members have an entirely different lifestyle, have a different mindset. We're used to just a certain lens that we see the world through now. And sometimes it's a challenge for veterans to transition into film. And with that in mind, we created the Veterans in Film category of Austin Indie Fest, because we wanted to recognize those who served our country and in return try to do something back for them as well. And this year we've got some phenomenal Veterans in Film submissions. And I want to take a second to recognize the first film, which gets into the minds and hearts of veterans. And so this year's Best Veterans in Film Short goes to In Between the White Space.
You still have a life. The Corps was what it was, and we made the most of it. You have to do the same now and make the most of the present. I really wish I had the answers to make it easier for you. I'd go over to Hank, but, you know, obviously I can't. It sucks. We're all in different states now with jobs and school and our own lives. But that's life, man. We need to move on.
Things are just so easy over there. Like you knew you could die at any time, but that was all you had to worry about, so you didn't worry. It's like we were on an island and the rest of the world didn't matter. Family, girlfriend, school, work, social media, no bullshit. It was so freeing without it all. Just all of us together in the dirt.
And this year's Best Veterans in Film Feature goes to the super quirky Sleaze Lake, van life at its lowest and best.
Then I was 20 years old and I'm just like, wow, this is the coolest thing, you know? I mean, how cool is this to drive around the country and party with a bunch of people who have your same mentality, you know?
And it was like nothing I've ever experienced in my life.
It was the freedom to be, from noon Friday till noon Sunday, who you wanted to be.
And also, as filmmakers ourselves and as a veteran, we know what it's like to make films. We make them all the time. And we wanted to recognize a director who's working with one of the hardest categories there is, children. And so this year's Best Veterans in Film Director goes to Apple.
Adam and Eva, the last two beings on Earth. How it happened, it really doesn't matter. It just did. Here they are, alone, hope scattered, reliance fade. The space between them grows.
Today is Sunday, which is Women in Film Day at Austin Indie Fest. As filmmakers ourselves, we looked around at a lot of film festivals throughout Texas, and we realized that there was often a lack of women identifying representation. And so because of that, we created an entire day dedicated to women in film. And that's probably my favorite day. And so, the best short film in the women in film category is Frankie and Jude, Star Wars: The Search for Jude.
Hey, Facebookverse. Has anybody seen Jude? He left for Sour Punch like 6 hours ago. You take that back!
The best feature for women in film, Fall Back Down.
Let me just...
Sit back up.
Yeah, I got this. I got this here. Just put this right there.
You go. Go, go, go.
ठीक है हाँ ठीक है पागल है
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the faintest idea on what you're doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah, we clearly have different definitions of fine.
I think we have different definitions of everything.
The best director for the women in film category is Maggie Levin with Heel.
What is he doing in my room? He jams his arm on my neck. Like this. Holds it. Leaves me just enough air to stay awake. And just awake enough to watch. To taste his fingers.
The best women in film documentary is Revense.
He's a visionary entrepreneur, a risk taker, a tinkerer, a mad coffee scientist.
No, más que todo es que cuando ya uno comienza a involucrarse más con lo que es el proceso, comienza uno a sentir la necesidad de aprender más sobre mejorar la calidad porque es al final lo que se sirve en la taza.
I love coffee, so watching that documentary is a lot of fun to me. But now, we're at the tail end of our festival, tail end of our awards ceremony. And that brings us to our Director's Choice Awards. Devin and I each pick one film each year that strikes home to us. It moves us in some way, maybe technically, maybe the story, maybe the acting, maybe the directing, or a combination of everything. And as I was looking at this year's films, there were a lot of them that really just screamed out to me, and they're like, hey, this is a great film. It's beautifully shot. It's well done. And so sometimes we get into the weeds on the backstory, what happened during the process, how the filmmaker did things. And we even look at budgets. And this year, as I was looking at the different films, I realized that there's one veteran in film submission that he had to move while he was making his short film. Not once, but several times. And it looks like every time that he moved, he filmed another piece and another piece and another piece. And it took him years to make this film. And I know what that's like. I've been there. So the fact that he completed this film after several years is just very inspirational to me. And my Director's Choice Award this year goes out to Rendezvous.
It took me a long time to consider all the different films that I really connected with this year. And after considering so many different things, it was wonderful to see how the landscape of independent film is really becoming more diverse. And that has been very moving to me since I head up the Women in Film category at Austin Indie Fest, but also because we have been dedicated to including all different identities and voices and ethnicities, and that's so important to us. With that in mind, the film that I selected has done a beautiful job of representing and expressing a lot of different unique perspectives that I don't often see in traditional Hollywood films. And I think that's one of the most important things about independent film.
I agree, yes.
So my Director's Choice goes to Slight.
Where are your glasses?
I think the world is beautiful when it's blurry. Like, the details are distracting. Like, we're all trying too hard to see everything at once when the colors are enough.
Okay, so here we are at the last 2 awards. And this one is actually selected by you, the audience. It's the Audience Choice Award for 2020. This year's award wins by 2 votes. It's a documentary.
The Audience Choice Award goes to Impact, Mobility and Modernity Reconsidered.
For millions of years, the job of a human being was to combine being a naturalist and an athlete and a member of a cooperative society. That's how we were hunter-gatherers for millions of years, and that's what hunter-gatherers do.
Dan Lieberman tries to focus this on what people did 50,000 years ago.
This year's Best in Fest, whew, this is always the hardest award for us to select because we've got so many great films. You realize that we selected the top 100 films out of all the submissions that were sent to us. And we look at everything. We look at everything closely. We look at in great detail. We judge it off of everything. And we know what it's like to make period pieces. And we know what it's like to work with children. And we know what it's like to deal with Nazis in our films. So as we looked at everything, how could we not select a beautifully shot, wonderfully told story that focuses on
women kicking Nazi ass?
Women kicking Nazi ass. And so this year's Best in Fest goes to
Alina.
¿Dónde llaves? Ya voy. Wasn't leaking.
Where are the children?
We don't have.
Congratulations, everybody. This concludes our 2020 Austin Indie Fest Awards ceremony. Reach out to us. Let us know what you think. This was our first year for the virtual festival. There was a huge learning curve, and we didn't get everything right, but we tried really hard to deliver you the best festival that we could. Feel free to reach out to us, send us a message, let us know what you think, and we look forward to seeing your films next year. And as promised, here is going to be the code for 50% off next year's submissions. We look forward to your films. Keep making great movies. Love you.